So it's nice to see everyone, also to hear. We will start first of all with reviewing the parasha. There is a lot of details, a lot of what to talk about, long stories, a little bit crazy stories also, and I hope we will talk maybe half of what I prepared. First of all, the story, what we have, the story of the parasha. The parasha starts with God speaking to Avraham, go from where you live to the place that I will show you. So the story of Avraham starts in the age of 75. Avraham is 75 years old when the parasha starts. And of course he had a lot of history before. The parasha starts with Avraham, with God talking to Avraham. And Avraham grew up without knowing that there is God, and he realized it in his own mind, and he developed kind of relationship of worshiping God and spreading the word of God all over the world, as we talked also last week. And the parasha starts with the first thing that God telling to the first Jew. What is the first thing? Lech lecha, go. Lech lecha, it's expression already in Hebrew, of course, because we have it from here, from our parasha. But the truth is, as lech lecha, go to yourself, is a little bit strange expression. Go to yourself. So Rashi, the first commentary on the Torah, is saying it will be worth it. Go, and it will be worth it to you. So this is go to yourself. But we will talk about it maybe. What is the expression go lech lecha? Go to yourself. So where he is going to, God telling him, I will show you where we're going, where you're going. And in the end, he's coming to the land of Israel. It's called Canaan. In that time, Canaan was the grandson of Noah, and he lived in that time in Israel. One second, I see Chaim is here. I will let him in. No, it's not Chaim, it's Aaron. Sorry, it's Aaron again. Okay.
Chaim is also coming. Chaim is calling right now to me, and he's coming in few minutes.
Okay, I will go again to let Chaim inside our electronic room. Everything okay, Aaron? You have two computers. Yes. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue. We have now Avraham going from his land to another land, and he's coming to the land of Canaan after God promising him a lot of blessings. What will happen? You will have sun all over the earth. They will spread. Everybody will know your name. You will be so famous. You will have a lot of honor, a lot of money, a lot of blessings Avraham getting from God. But he's coming to the land that God promised him, and no one is greeting him, no one is recognizing him, no honor, no, of course, no children. And not only that, there's nothing to eat. When he came, became a starvation in the land, nothing to eat. So Avraham first to move to Egypt, and he's going to Egypt, and the second thing he have is need to fight for his honor. God promised him honor. He coming to the land of Egypt, and he realized that now the Egyptian will want to take Sarah from him, because Sarah was so beautiful and they wanted to take her. He realized it, and he's telling Sarah, you should say that you my sister, and then they will not kill me in order to take you. And this is what he's doing. Sarah is going to Paro, to the king of Egypt, as a wife, and then Paro getting sick, and he realized that there is a problem. Sarah, she's a married woman, and he's getting Sarah back to Avraham and giving him a lot of prices and money and a lot of things. Presents. One second, I see Chaim is here. This is the last time. I hope that I we have few computers. Okay, Chaim, hello. Okay, it's good to see you. We will continue with the story. I would say a few words about the story that it's very, very, very strange story. Avraham going to Egypt. And he's coming to Egypt, and then he realized that if the Egyptians will know that Sarah is a married woman to whom she married to Avraham, they will kill Avraham and take Sarah to someone, to the pharaohs, or I don't know. And Avraham, you would think he's a responsible person, yes? What he's doing about Sarah? Nothing. He doesn't care about Sarah. He cares only about himself. Please tell everyone that you are my sister, and then they will not kill me. And what about me? They will take Sarah to Paro. He will take her to be his wife. What about that? Avraham not doing anything. And not only that, it's crazy. The Torah saying that Avraham telling Sarah, "Lema nitav li ba'avurech v'chayta nafshi b'glalech." Two things will happen. Avraham telling Sarah, two things will happen if you will say that you are my sister. First of all, they will not kill me to take you. Second thing will happen, they will give me a lot of presents. Avraham, are you normal? My dear beloved wife, please not tell that you are my wife in order that they will take you and not kill me, and then they will give me a lot of presents. It's very, very strange. Avraham is the most kind person. He's the father of all nations. And when he is afraid about his life and about his wife, he doesn't care about his wife at all, only thinking about himself. What is that? Very strange. What do you say? It's a serious question. So about that, we can find I would say two parts of one idea. I think it's one idea, we can call it. It's very interesting. When Sarah died, We will learn about it in 2 weeks. Avraham, the Torah is saying that Avraham bought for her a place in Hebron, as we know that this is the grave of Sarah until this day, Avraham and Sarah. He bought for her, and then the Torah is saying that he came to the place to cry for his wife and lispod. What is to lispod? Lehaspid in Hebrew means it's the ceremony when we burying, not we, when a person burying someone, so we saying few words about the person, how good person was he. And this is the Torah saying that Avraham said a speech about his wife. And the Torah doesn't say what is that speech. It's very, very interesting that basically we have that speech. And we saying this speech every Shabbat. When we saying that speech, this is the song that we sing before Shabbat meal, Eshet Chayil. After Shalom Aleichem, we sang Eshet Chayil, the song about our wives that prepared all the meals of Shabbat, all the food and all the house. And of course we helped her, but it was the responsibility of the women. And we sing that song Eshet Chayil. And this is the speech that Avraham said about his wife when he buried her. How we know? So if we will look close in the words, we can see that this is a speech that talking about a woman that is not right here. She already passed away. Eshet Chayil means who can find such a woman? Such a woman. What do you mean? Your wife is in front of you. No, because Avraham said it after Sarah passed away. The second pasuk of Eshet Chayil saying, Batach ba lev ba'ala. The husband of this wife trust her so much and he didn't have fear because of her. Veshala lo yachsar. And that's why they had a lot of money. This is the second pasuk of Eshet Chayil. The Midrash saying that this pasuk Avraham said talking about the story of Egypt. When Avraham and Sarah came to Egypt, Avraham saw in the way that Sarah have an angel that guarding her. But he did look for his angel and he didn't find any angel protecting him. He was alone. But Sarah, his wife, were protected. And the Zohar telling us, in the insight of Torah, the Zohar telling us very, very strong thing. That it's true that our fathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, were very, very righteous people. They were, of course, the most righteous people on earth. God chose them. But the truth is that their women were more righteous than them. Sarah was more tzaddik from Avraham. She was a better prophet than Avraham. This is what the Torah telling us. That's why God telling Avraham in the following stories of Avraham and Sarah, God telling Avraham, everything that Sarah telling you should listen to her. Everything, in any subject. Because Sarah is more tzaddik, more righteous than Avraham. That's why when Avraham and Sarah coming to Egypt, Avraham looking on Sarah, and he see that she is protected. She have no problems. But he is not protected. So he told Sarah, okay, God will do for you miracles. I see it from now. I see it because you have the angel. Angel is here to do some miracles. So you will experience miracles. But I see that God doesn't give me an angel. I will not have here such a big miracle. So I need to find for myself a solution. So please tell everyone that you are my sister and that's how I will escape. No one will hurt me. And then God will do for you the miracles. And this is what exactly happened. God did for Sarah amazing miracles. And Paro got sick and he realized that Sarah is a married woman and we need to give her back to her husband. And this is what the Zohar said, according to the Sod, to the insight of Torah, to the secret of Torah. But we find also in one of the commentaries, the Ramban, I see Jonathan writing something. I don't understand what exactly he's saying. So the Ramban telling us very powerful idea, and I will say it in short and we will continue the story of the parasha. The Ramban telling us that everything that happened to our fathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, gave power to the grandsons to experience the same things. And this is why it happened to Avraham and Sarah. Avraham and Sarah came to Egypt, and Paro took Sarah to himself. And then God did some plague, gave Paro sickness and plagues, and then Paro didn't touch Sarah. The Rambam is saying, after 200 years, 300 years, same things happened to the grandsons of Avraham. As we know, the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt, and Paro said, kill all the boys. But the females, the girls, Paro said not to kill. Why? So the Ramban said, he planned that the Egyptian will take all the girls for themselves. Why to kill them? So, and then what God did? Gave the Egyptian plagues, and that's how the Jewish people go out from them, from Egypt. So exactly the things that happened to Avraham happened to the grandsons. He's saying it very long and a lot of details that similar. Avraham get a lot of presents and money from Pharaoh. The grandson, the Pharaoh of the Jewish people, gave the Jewish people a lot of presents, and all the Egyptians gave the Jewish people a lot of presents when they got out from Egypt. So it's really similar. So, but the powerful idea of the Ramban is that the stories of the Torah gave the Jewish people power to survive the same stories that happened after in all the generation, in all the history. This is idea that maybe we will come back to. This is about the crazy story of the beginning when they came to Egypt, how Avraham giving Sarah. So we said one idea that Sarah was much more protected than Avraham. God wanted to do miracles through Sarah, not through Avraham, not yet. After that, they're getting a lot of food, a lot of everything from Egypt. They're going back to Israel. The situation in Canaan is already okay. There is food. And then there is the second story. There is a very big war. We will not talk about it so much, but this is the First World War. There is a war between 5 kings to 4. Other 4, 9 kings have very big war. How Avraham is connected to that, because one of the 5 kings is the king of Sodom. And in that time, Lot, the nephew of Avraham, lived in Sodom. And Avraham, not thinking 2 seconds, and he decided, I'm going to fight the 4 kings that conquered the 5 other kings. By the way, science, I think this is the first story of the Torah in history. I mean, that they found really the name of the kings and a lot of details about the war, science found. So Avraham is going into the war and he's winning the 4 kings that fought against the 5 other kings. And then he they want to give him a lot of things that he won in the war, all the money and all the things that he won. But he said, I'm not taking anything for myself. God will give me everything that I want. Okay. After that, we have in our parasha one of the most important things in the Jewish history. We have in our parasha two very, very important things in our history. The first thing is called in Hebrew Brit Ben HaBetarim. Do you know what I'm talking about, someone? Brit, no, the Brit is the second thing. It's true, Brit. But Brit Ben HaBetarim is something else. It's before the Brit. It's okay. We have in our parasha, the second thing that we have in our parasha is the Brit. But the first thing is Brit Ben HaBetarim. What is Brit Ben HaBetarim? This was the official beginning of the Jewish nation. When was the official beginning of the Jewish nation? Was the Brit Ben HaBetarim. What is the story? So Avraham fell asleep. He fell asleep, and then God telling him that he will do some ritual to with some animals to cut into half. And there is an argument if it was in dream or it was in reality, but it doesn't matter if it was in dream or not. And God then promising Avraham that his grandsons, you will have children, you will have sons and grandsons, and all the nation will learn from them, and there will be so many like the stars, and a lot of blessings. And then God also promising him, they will, before entering the land, this land will belong to your sons, but before entering them, they will have some process. The process will be very hard. They will be slaves in a land that's not belongs to them. But after that, they will go from this land that they were slaves. They will go with a lot of, I don't know how to say it, not money, but a lot of shalal. Shalal in Hebrew means a lot of belongings that they will have to start their land, their new land. After that, it happens, of course, God telling Avraham, it will be 400 years from now. This is the official beginning of the Jewish nation. Brit Ben HaBetarim. Okay, after that, there is another strange story. I see that we already, 7:30. Another story. What is the story? The story with Sarah and Hagar. Who is Hagar? Hagar was one of the servants of Avraham, and Sarah hearing the promises for kids, and they will have kids, and Avraham is getting old, and they living in Israel for 10 years, and Sarah telling Avraham, okay, let's do some trick, maybe I will not be the woman that give you the kids. Take Hagar. Hagar was like a slave, and she is belong to us. And go with her, be with her, and she will give us the kids that God promising us, because I'm too old.
But Agar was the daughter of Pharaoh?
Oh, Hagar was the daughter of Pharaoh. Yes.
Yes? Okay.
I will tell you what. Yes, Hagar was the daughter of Pharaoh. This is what there is a few opinions, but the usual opinion, the basic opinion is that she was the daughter of Paul. And she was from a good family. Very good. And not only that, she was daughter of a king. But she wanted so much. She heard about Avraham. Avraham was so famous in that time. He spread the word of God, and it came to Egypt. And he was in Egypt. So maybe also there she heard about it. And she said, I will be a slave of Avraham. So from being a princess, she became the slave of Avraham. So because she was so sacrificing so much for the belief, in the end, she was the wife of Avraham. Yes? So she got pregnant. She's thinking for herself, see what's going on here. God himself giving so many promises to Avraham. And by whom the promises will be? By me. By me, not by Sarah. So I must be much more greater than Sarah. Yes? So from that moment that she realized that, the situation between Sarah and Hagar became very, very difficult. Sarah didn't want Hagar to be there. As we said before, Sarah was much more righteous than Avraham. So we need to understand this conflict. How Sarah, the Torah telling that Sarah were I don't know how to say it. She was bothering Hagar. She was bothering Hagar so much that Hagar decided to run from Abraham's home. She said, enough is enough. So she ran out. And in that point, in the conflict between Avraham and Sarah, Avraham wanted Hagar to stay. Sarah wanted Hagar to go. God told Avraham everything that Sarah said. You need to listen to her. Okay? So Hagar running away, and then the angel coming to Hagar and telling her, you will have a son. Go back to Avraham, you will have a son. The name of the son will be Ishmael. And this is it. And then she's coming back. And the continue of the conflict between Sarah and Hagar, we will see next week. But this is about our parasha. And then we have the last, and as Elena said before, we have the Brit. In the end of the parasha, God coming to Avraham and telling Avraham, you need to do circumcision. And this will be the sign that we are connected. You will have a sign in your body. We can talk about so many things in this parasha. So many things. So first thing that we said, it's about the story of Avraham and Sarah in Egypt. As we said, Sarah was protected, and Avraham wanted to find some solution for himself. I want to talk about another 2, maybe 3 ideas, if we will have time. First of all, our parasha starts with Lech lecha. Go to yourself. Go from the land that you was born, you grew up, you know everyone, to a different land. Avraham coming to the different land, to the land of Israel, and there is nothing to eat. Starvation, and no honor, no respect, nothing. This considered in the Jewish tradition one of the tests that Avraham had. Avraham had 10 nisyonot. Nisayon means test. God gave Avraham tests. Of course, the big and the last one we will learn in next week. It's the sacrifice Yitzchak, his own son. But the question is, why God doing tests? And this is a question that we learning here about Avraham, but it's also about ourselves, about our lives. Why God needs to do tests? What is that? What is that process? Avraham got everything in the end, all the blessings. But it's amazing. God gave Avraham hope all the time. In the beginning of our parasha, you will have land, you will have respect, you will have kids. In coming to the land, you need to go away from the land. Why? Because nothing to eat there. He's coming to Egypt, you have the least respect of his life. He is threatened to become dead, and his wife taking from him less respect. After God giving Abraham the hope of land and respect, he's taking it from him. And after Abraham, and then he have no kids, of course. And we can continue about next week. What is the 10th and the amazing test that Avraham had to sacrifice his son is after God, so many years promising Avraham that he will have kids. And finally, in the age of 100, he have one kid. And then God telling Avraham to kill this kid. He's giving him hope and always want to show him that he can take this. The test is that he can take the hope back. So why we have this so many tests? In our life also. So this idea is very important to our life. That's why I'm saying it. The idea is the test is good for three people. If we're talking about this test of Avraham, in three sides. It's basically two sides, but to complete the idea, we can say three sides. First of all, to God. God want to see how Avraham is dedicated to him. He will do everything. He will stay in the belief. He will stay believing in God and respecting with all the tests. This is to complete the idea, because God knows, so he doesn't need to be to do the test. That's why the other two sides are much more important and true and strong. The second side, and this is the most important side, test is for the person that have the test. For the person is himself. In Hebrew, as we said, test is nisayon. Nisayon. What is nisayon? It's from the word nes. Miracle. Not nes, it's not only miracles, it's going high. V'san nes, we're saying in the prayer, V'san nes lekabetz galuyotenu, meaning we will go high. Nisayon is here, test is here to take you level up. I remember a story that I heard once about one of the most famous Chabad rabbis in Chabad Shluchim. One of the most famous one is Chabad rabbi in London. His name is Reb Nachman Sudak. He passed away a few years ago. And he came 60 years ago. He came to London. I think 60 years ago. And in that time, it was very, very difficult because he had zero cooperation from anyone. And someone asked them after many, many years, from where did you have the power, the strength to continue without any cooperation? Of course, in the end, he had a lot of success. So he answered, I grew up in Samarkand. I think it was Samarkand or Tashkent. I don't remember. It's two cities that very big Chabad community was there in in the 30s, in the 40s, and after that, because it was much easier to absorb Yiddishkeit there. And he grew up there. This Chabad rabbi, Rabbi Nachman. And he was not going to school because the school was communist school. You needed to go on Shabbat, and it was very, very difficult to go to school, so he didn't go. He was learning Torah all the time. So how he was doing that? He was going in the morning very early in the dark. There was no lights there in the dark. So he was going in the dark and going back to his home in the dark from where he studied Torah. But in Friday, he needed to go back in the daytime before Shabbat. Once he going on Friday in the daytime in the street with his book of Torah from where he studied, and then he feeling a strong hand. So even before he turned around to see who is that, he realized that he is in a difficult situation. So he's turning back to this big person, asking him, where are you going, where are you coming from? So he said, from my grandmother. And what is this book? He said, it's a book of games, a game of words, He opened the book, he see words in Hebrew, he cannot say anything, he doesn't know. And then he asked him, where is your school? So he said a different city that he cannot check. So he said, okay, go home. He started going home, this kid, and he see that he is going behind him. Because for the kid, he cannot do anything, but he will go with him to his home. And then he will go to the parents and he will ask him where he's learning and all the details. And it was dangerous. So he started running and hiding beyond the trees, and the person is behind him for 1 hour and a half until came dark, and then he managed to go home. As I said, there is no lights. He said, this hour and a half that I ran was so terrifying, was so dangerous, and I was so scared but it gave me so much strength that day after I was with so much strength. It gave me a lot of energy, a lot, because I knew how much I can sacrifice to continue going to the Jewish school to learn Torah. I realized how much I can sacrifice. It gave me the knowledge. This is the power of test. Test revealing in a person his power. He revealing Avraham after going sacrificing his son, feeling the energy. Look what I can do for God. He's talking to himself, how much I can do for God. I so dedicated. I can take my son and sacrifice him from God. So a test is for ourselves. This is the thing that we need to remember about test. We find test, it's to reveal in you the power to go above the difficulty. And after you're going above, you're staying with the power that you had to go above the difficulty. This is the power of tests. And here we have a third idea about tests. All the tests that Avraham had, this is very strong idea and very deep. I will just say it, and whoever understands and feel connected to the idea, so it's good. The tests that Avraham had were against his agenda. What was the agenda of Avraham in all his life? One agenda: to spread the word of God, that everyone will believe in God. This was Avraham's agenda. Spread the word of God. He published, he worked on it, he worked very hard to spread the word of God. This was one mission of his life. And everybody know God will give Avraham kids. He was famous. Everybody knew that God will bless Avraham. It will be a very big miracle, and so many blessings he will have. And Avraham believed so much in this agenda. And then he finally have this miracle. Avraham so happy. He have the miracle. Everybody know that I am right. There is only one true God, and he gave me my son. And then God telling Avraham, go kill this son. It's against everything Avraham worked for. He's telling God, I don't understand. He didn't tell God. But he can think to himself, I don't understand what you and I will accomplish from me killing the son. All the blessings that you said for nothing. Meaning that there is no sense, any sense of Avraham's agenda to spreading and to making God's name stronger and famous. It will make exactly the opposite. If I will kill my son Yitzchak, it will be against all my life's work, that this is to spread your word. What we will accomplish through sacrificing the son. And this is the lesson for us. Sometimes we need to do God's work not because it's nice, not because it's fitting to our agenda of life. It's because God says so. This was the only reason that Avraham did what God asked. All his life, in all the tests of Avraham, publishing God's name, it was right, fitting very good with his agenda. He was going into the fire, and God did a miracle, and nothing happened to him, and God's name became bigger. But after all these years that God gave him his son, and to sacrifice his son, to kill him, it's exactly the opposite of the agenda. Because God promising him a lot of grandsons, and it will come a very big nation. And then God telling, you know what? Kill this person. It's exactly the opposite of the agenda. And Avraham didn't say nothing. The only reason that Avraham agreed, he didn't do it, agreed to do what God asked him, to sacrifice his son, was one reason only. Because God asks. There is none, any sense in that, to do it. It's not fitting with the agenda. And this is idea that we need to remember sometimes, that we need to do what God asks, not only because it's good, not only because it's amazing ethics and give us peace in our life and making our lives better, and this is healthy, and this is all true. But there is another reason to do what God asks. Because God asks. Because God asks. And this will be continue, maybe connected to another idea that I will say about the circumcision. First of all, we will say a beautiful story that I heard few times from few places, and it seems to be true story because I heard it from few places with the names and with the characters, so must be a true. If not true, close to true. Most of the details happened. I don't know. As a story is a nice story. And the story is like that. We all know the story of the Titanic. the most strong boat of the world going out from Europe and going to America. So most of the people that were in the boat, I think was there approximately 2,000. I don't know, I don't remember. Most of the people that was there came to experience the amazing boat, such a big and strong boat, and everybody was there, the best how you say, sailor maybe. And it was a very, very, very amazing experience. So there were the rich people that were in the top floors, and there were the common people, the simple people, the poor people also. Why they were there? Everybody with his reason. There was there one woman, Jewish woman, with her young baby, young son. I don't remember the names, but I heard with all the details, with all the names. And she was going there to go to America. Why? It was the time of the Golden Medina in Yiddish. The land of the gold. All the Jewish people, a lot of the Jewish people go out from Europe to, and not only Jewish of course, to America to find the gold that grow up in the trees in America. So she was planning to go to America. I heard the place that she was going to, I think it was Georgia, but I don't remember. And she is in the boat, and as we know, after a few days, the boat is going inside this ice, how you say in English? Yes. And the boat broke into half, and she's going up to the deck with the baby. And then the sailors scream the policy, as custom, the policy of kids and ladies first, before men. And it was so much chaos and so confusion and screams and terrifying situation. One second. There's some noise here. I stopped in the peak. So it was there, the confusion, and she was with the baby, and they saying ladies first with the kids, and she's going to the boat, to the small boats, and was a man there that he's wanna go also. He was trauma and crazy to save his life. And he saw that they taking her before him. So he said, you will go before me. And from the craziness that he had in that situation, he threw the kid to the water, the baby. And she starts screaming, my baby, my son, but she had no chance, no time. It was dark and everything. And she's going to the boat, and she was separate from the baby. After a few days, they were going to another boat. I think day after, they're going to another boat, bigger boat. And she's, of course, from the trauma of all the story, and she missed her son, baby. And then she hearing a cry. She's looking, and she see a baby, and she recognized the cry, and she looking, and she saw a non-Jew lady, a nun even, with the cross here, everything, holding, and she recognized, this is my baby. She starts screaming, this is my baby, give me my baby. And the nun said, no, it's a baby that I got from heaven, belongs to me. And she's screaming, this is mine, and she crazy, no, it's mine. And then came the as I said, the sailor, I don't know how to say it in English, the manager, and he doesn't know what to do. It's King Solomon, the modern King Solomon trial. You know the story of the trial? And then the Jewish woman realized, she's saying, look, he's circumcised, open. He's circumcised. He's my son. Okay. The nun's saying, take this person. Take him. I don't want him. This is how she got her son back. This is the story about circumcision. In this story, we're seeing something very, very simple. It's a sign. The circumcision is a sign. It's a stamp. We can talk a lot of details. Why we need the stamp, and why is there and why. But first of all, the circumcision is a stamp. Every Jew, the Judaism is connected to all his being. The physical being, he cannot run from it. Why we need to do circumcision to a baby 8 days old? This is the reason. Because this is his being, the Judaism. It's not something that he maybe we can do circumcision in the age of 15, you know. You realized your life and now you become a Jew. No. It's not something that you can take for yourself and say, oh, it's nice. No, it's your being. And this is the thing that happened in circumcision. You're taking it and you connect it with it. It becoming one with you, with your body. You cannot run from it. It's in your life. And this is why we're doing it from the beginning of life. The beginning of life, you cannot run from it. And this is why also we can say, according to the insight of Torah, why we're doing it in the age of 8 days. What is 8? So 7 days is nature. 8 days, it's above nature. And this is what we want to show here. The sign of and the connection. Brit. What is Brit? Is union. Like, the union is not because we agreed. It's not something that we only understand in reason, we feel it. You can know the union of Jew with God. It's above all understanding. It's above all feeling. It's one. The Jew is one with God. If he wants, if he doesn't want, he cannot run from it. He is one with God. And this is the connection between 8 days. Because 8, it's above nature. A little bit more deep than understanding. It's like father and son. Father and son, not only understanding each other, not only always have the right feelings for each other even, but always they will stay connected. Always. Why? Because there is some unnatural connection. And this connection is in all their beings. This is what we want to show with circumcision. That we have deep connection with God above everything. And the connection cannot run from us. We cannot separate from that connection. This is inside our body. And this is strong. And actually this is why it's in that place. In the body. Because that place is the place of being. It's the only place. This is to have another continuation of generation. This what make us. This is the most strong thing that we have. Sorry, to create a life. And we want to say, sorry, that the life that we're creating, it's connected to God from the beginning. Everything is connected to God. Our strong powers connected to God. Everything. All our being is connected to God. This is a second idea about Brit. And this is again the connection between this idea and the idea of tests. The connection that a Jew have with God is above and beyond. It's above understanding and beyond the understanding. And we need to understand that. And a person can reveal this connection in himself if he's thinking about it, if he experienced something and he conquered it. It's because he have so strong powers inside him, powers that's coming from God. This is the power of Brit that we have with God. We can say another short idea. Should we say it or what do you say? Or it's enough for today?
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. It will be short. Okay. The idea that I said, after that I will repeat everything, that we will have a little bit complete picture. Another idea that we have is about the conflict between Avraham and Sarah. It's very strange. We said in the beginning that Sarah was much more tzaddik, or she was bigger prophet than Avraham. Bigger prophet. She had an angel beside her. She was protected. How come Sarah treating Hagar not in the perfect way? So I would say only one point that will help us understand a little bit. Avraham is the father of, how many followers Avraham have today? Someone have approximately idea?
What the question was?
How many followers Avraham have today? He have approximately 4 billion.
Jewish people, you mean?
No? Avraham was the person that the mission of his life was believing in one God.
You mean everyone who is actually monotheistic, so all those people?
Very good. All the person, most of the world, that they are believing in one God, and this is the tradition and the work of Avraham. That's why when God telling Avraham that he changing his name from Avram to Avraham, so God telling Avraham, you the father of all the nation, of a lot of nations. Because Avraham, in addition to his role to be the father of the Jewish people, he also was the father of all believing people in the world. And how he became the father of all believing people in the world? He just literally was the father of all the people. How come? Ishmael is the son of Avraham. He is the father of all Muslims that came many years after. And Esav, the brother of Yaakov, the grandson of Avraham, he is the father of Christianity eventually. Eliphaz is the son of Esav. From him became all the Europe. So Avraham not only spread the words of God, he also the father, literally, of the people that from them became nations that believe in God. I would say only the point. We can talk about it very long. But the point is that Avraham is the father of all believing people in the world, not only his Jewish nation. And Sarah, she's the mother of the Jewish nation. And this is very big difference between Avraham and Sarah. Sarah have one responsibility in her life, that the Jewish people, the Jewish nation will grow, it will be strong, and have strong belief. That's why Sarah taking care of the Jewish nation, of Yitzchak, her son, or only child. Avraham, a responsibility. I have another son. And after Sarah died, Avraham took another wife. And have from this wife 6 kids. What Avraham doing with the kids? Give all the kids presents. Giving them a good life. And sending them. He's taking care mainly of Yitzchak, his son, because he's the father of the Jewish nation. But also he's the father of other nations. Other nations. So this is very big difference between Avraham and Sarah. And that's why Avraham have one side in the conflict between Yitzchak and Ishmael, the Jewish people and the Muslims. Avraham have difficulties because he's the father also of all believers. And Sarah taking care of Yitzchak. And God telling Avraham, you need to listen to Sarah. Because to your responsibilities it's good, but you need to take care of the Jewish people. That's why Avraham taking care of Yitzchak. But this is two sides. Hi, Avraham's cat. This is the two sides of Avraham and Sarah. Okay, so now let's summarize a little bit what we have. We had a lot of details. Our Parashat telling the story of the traveling of Avraham to the land of Israel and then to Egypt and then back in Israel. We talked about few ideas. First of all, the idea that Avraham coming to Egypt and taking care about himself, not about Sarah. Very strange. And we explained that Avraham and Sarah have very big difference between them. Avraham is tzaddik, is the most righteous person, but Sarah had stronger power than Avraham. When they came to Egypt, she had an angel guarding her. Avraham understood that Sarah going to do miracles here in Egypt. He was not in that level. I don't know. That's why he took care about himself, and as we know, Sarah did a lot of miracles there, and then they got out from that. We said another idea that everything that they experienced gave power to the nation, to the Jewish people after that, and exactly the same thing happened with the Jewish people when they came back to Egypt, and God did miracles that Pharaoh will not touch the Jewish women. Second idea that we said, it's about nisyonot, it's about tests. Tests that Avraham had, so many tests, and they were very hard. And we explained that the goal of the test is to reveal inside the person that experiencing the difficulty, to reveal inside the person the power of overcoming this difficulty, and through overcoming you reveal in yourself the power that you didn't know that you have, and then you continue with a strong power. This is the power that Avraham revealed in himself, and this is the reason of our tests. And another thing that we learn from the test of Avraham is sometimes we don't understand what God wants from us. But we're doing it. Everybody have sometimes we don't understand. What doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. What will you accomplish from it? Why you want me to do some things? Avraham did something that were against his whole life's agenda, to sacrifice his son, for example, and he did it for only one reason, because God asked. Okay, this is the second idea that we have. After that, we talk about circumcision, about the power of the sign that we have inside our body. It represents strong connection that every Jew, of course also women, also females, have the Talmud said that females were burned with circumcision. It's the same. It's like, yes, this is what the Talmud said. So what is that? It's the power of connecting our body. It means every aspect of our life is connected with God. We cannot run from it. We cannot escape this. Why? Because it's strong connection, like father and his son and his kid. They have connection that not connected to understanding, to feeling. And this is why the circumcision in the 8th day, because 8 is representing something above understanding, above nature. The last idea that we said is about Avraham and Sarah. Maybe we will talk about it next week in more details, that Avraham is the father of the Jewish nation, Sarah is the the father of the Jewish nation and all believers. And Sarah is the mother of the Jewish nation. That's why they had this conflict between them. And we find interesting sides in this conflict. I think this is enough details, and we have a lot of what to think about. And I thank you very much. Someone have something to say? Avraham, Elina, Eric, Chaim. If someone have something to add.
What is the meaning Lech? Lecha?
Oh, go to yourself.